Well, let's get some insight on this now with Shweta Narayan. She's a global climate and health campaigner. Welcome to TRT World. Great to have you with us. So clearly heat brings danger, but how effectively is this message getting through to people, to governments?
Unfortunately, not that effectively. I mean, it is not surprising, as dangerous as it may be, the signs that we're seeing with extreme weather events, be it heat, be it flooding. This is in line with what scientists have predicted all along. So this information is not new. The evidence is not new. The evidence is getting clearer every year. Unfortunately, the scale of actions that we need to see from governments around the world is not matching the scale of devastation that we are already beginning to see. So we are in the crisis. It's not a crisis in the future. We're living in this crisis. And parts of the world in fact, last week, according to the World Meteorological Organization, was the hottest week on record ever. And the unfortunate part is that if things continue as business as usual, and if no action is taken, this is the coolest summer we will experience for decades to come. And that's the problem that we are right now in.
Shweta, that's really scary.
This is going to get worse.
Sorry to interrupt, but that's really scary. If this is the coolest summer that we're going to see in a long time, especially we're just looking at pictures there of Europe and the US. And you mentioned a point there that the devastation we're seeing doesn't match what the governments should be doing. But so why aren't they feeling the heat, if we could put it that way? Why aren't they stepping up? Because many parts of Europe, for example, have red alert warnings right now.
Yes, I think one of the reasons why we don't feel the confidence that governments are doing enough is because we continue to use fossil fuels. Fossil fuels is the major driver of climate change. The evidence is very clear. Yet we are not phasing out of fossil fuels. We continue to subsidize them. In fact, US and UK are planning to invest in give new licenses for exploration and consumption of fossil fuels. The science and the evidence is being ignored for profits for fossil fuel companies at the cost of people's lives.
And exactly, I mean, you can't get away from these terrible statistics. Last summer, more than 60,000 people died in Europe, the hottest on record. And this summer, I'm just looking at Europe right now, could be even hotter. So surely, these are people's lives. This is really, really alarming.
Absolutely, absolutely, no doubt about it. And at the same time, I mean, so we need to make sure that we phase out of fossil fuels rapidly and in a just and equitable manner. And at the same time, we need to invest in health systems in our cities, the way we plan our cities, the way we plan our urban landscapes in a way that they become climate resilient and they become low emission zones. So it's important both in terms of taking those bold actions to make sure that the global temperature does not increase beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius. And we need to invest in systems, especially our health systems, because this crisis is a health crisis. The climate crisis is a health crisis. We are already seeing evidence of it. And we need to have health systems and healthcare workers and professionals ready, prepared, and available to respond to this crisis, because all through these reports, you will see that there is an increased burden on the healthcare system. And the healthcare systems will not be, if they are not prepared, they will not be able to cope with this burden and collapse, and that would be a bigger disaster.
Indeed, as you say, the climate crisis is a health crisis. Fantastic to speak to you and get your analysis and your thoughts. Thank you for your time. Shweta Narayan, Global Climate and Health Campaigner. Fantastic to have you on.